Now, let me go to Louwtjie. I think I got it right, the pronunciation of your name. You are in a very interesting position because you're an EPC contractor originally, and actually that's most of what you do. But you find yourself drawn into the development arena. Developers may be asking you to put capital at risk. Can you share some of the perspective on your business model and some of the challenges that you see, primarily as a contractor, but that has to go into the project development space, please?
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. Traditionally, WBHO is a contractor, and I think the last couple of years we got more involved in EPC construction, and then we realized that sitting at an EPC, you do take a lot more risk that the norm would be. So developers started approaching us to become joint developers because a lot of the developments in Africa had budget issues, they overran with time, and I think we had a good track record of experience on the continent and credibility of delivering projects on budget, on time, and that really brought developers to our door. And I think the last 3-4 years we've been getting involved in more and more development. You can imagine coming from a construction background on the margins type of thing. Development risk is not something we normally would take. But I think we're also in a position where the size of the business, you get to have to grow a company and you can't just sit back and wait. So it's really been good for us the last couple of years. And what we are seeing at the moment is, if you go to Africa, is that I suppose the spending power of the governments are slightly down with the commodity cycle and the oil where it is. So we're getting more inquiries from private developers and investors, and that's what we like to pursue because it's all about the team at the end of the day. I think identifying projects is still the biggest risk for us, to make sure that it's a real project. There's a real will by the government that this project must proceed. Like there's a champion from the government that will drive this project, through all the legal hurdles, financial hurdles, right up to financial close. So we are quite selective in the way we do it. But I think if you just have a look at the Louwtjie report, for instance, last year, projects have grown by 15% in the last year in Africa, by value and by number. So I think a lot of people are seeing it as opportunity now, because these, especially the infrastructure projects, has got quite a long life cycle. So you can ride the downturns out, and it's just about an opportunity to develop now because of where we are in the cycle. You do a development, there's not so much competition in the bids, there's not so many in the regulatory environment, there's not so many bids for the guys. They got more time, so we seem to be getting these things through quicker than traditionally. And I think if you look into South Africa, there's been some great the whole renewable projects that came through the triple P environment where we're involved in. Just in Saldanha now, 2's been closed out, the LPG terminal, the oil tank facilities. You look at Takoradi. So I think the need and the awareness for the infrastructure in Africa is certainly there, and we don't see it necessarily as a bad time at the moment for us, maybe because we're pretty new entrants the last few years into the market, but we're quite excited of where we are at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much, Louwtjie, and certainly developers are pretty happy to have a new partner, an additional partner to come in and share the development risk, which is certainly the riskiest phase of the project. And I also noted your optimism that things are actually improving and maybe cutting down the time to close, certainly in some of the projects that you work on.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.